At Nissan of Silsbee, did you know that we have a complete service department? Whether you need detailed mechanical work or just a $12.95 oil change, we can handle it for you. And we rent new Nissans. And we rent to everybody. Get a 3-day weekend for just $99 or rent it longer.
And of course we sell. Get a 2011 Nissan Altima for just $199 per month or get a great deal on a certified pre-owned vehicle.
But best of all, at Nissan of Silsbee, we're making deals the Silsbee way.
J.K. White, SportsSpeak. Happy to have with us today another bike traveler, Kevin Woodley. Hello,
hey,
Kevin Woodley.
How's it going?
Good to see you and good to have you here.
Thanks.
We're going to talk a little bit about sport. You didn't play much baseball, just a little?
Well, I did play baseball when I was a kid for probably about 3 or 4 years. Started with t-ball, then went into regular fast pitch, and later on in life I did do slow pitch softball.
But actually you didn't do the traditional sports, baseball, basketball, football, golf, and all those. You did some other unusual type sports. What about, you said something about water skiing. Did you?
Yeah, I grew up water skiing, and it was awesome. It's a great sport. I can tell you water skiing is great. Other sports that I've done is like I'm a really good snow skier. I love extreme skiing. I did that for years.
Whoa, wait a minute now. You said extreme skiing. Tell me what that means.
Well, what that means is like you go to a place where it has snow and the mountain's like really steep like this.
Yes.
And you wait for the powder to come down up on that, and then you just start skiing down these places. And when people drive by and they look up and say, "Who in the heck did that?" That was me.
Yeah.
I did these S-turns on stuff where when you made your S-turns, you could rub your elbow on the side of the road. It was so on the side of the mountain, it's so steep.
Oh, say, okay, then you moved from water skiing to snow skiing, and
Right.
is that not a big change?
Well, the freedom in snow skiing is awesome, and the reason why is because as long as you have this downhillness to go down, there's a freedom to go way over here or down here, to where when you're water skiing, you have to kind of stay behind the boat, or you can jump the wake to either side. But you can only go where the boat's taking you, to where freedom in the snow skiing arena is like huge.
I see. How about when you just climb right up the side of the mountain? You did something like that, I think, in your mind. Tell me about.
Well, I was a huge rock climber when I lived in California for a while, and I really loved it. It was just, the freedom that you have when you're climbing, the oneness that you have, just like, hey, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And how you come in and you overcome certain obstacles on the way, and it's just this oneness, this feeling that you get, and as you learn more and more moves and having fun with the people, it's about the people too. It's how you have fun and adjust and stuff with the people.
Isn't that dangerous?
Well, I guess walking across the street's dangerous. We could go through anything. Going on a plane, a car, a boat, anything's dangerous. So, you kind of pick and choose and decide what you're going to do.
By the way, this is a bike tourist. He's traveling across and through the country, and I'm going to ask you something about that. Where did you start this bike tour, and how long ago? About 5-7 months ago or something?
Well, around October, the middle of October, I started a bike tour, and I'm going to do the 48 states. So far, I've done 15 states, setting at over 3,250 miles. I started in Oklahoma, made my way around to Florida. So in other words, I went Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, back to Kentucky. Then I had somebody take me to a car to Virginia to take me over the mountains, Virginia down to the Carolinas, Georgia, then Florida. And in Florida, I stayed there for approximately 4.5 weeks, and I started the journey back to California. And that's where I am now. On this part of the journey, on this leg of the journey, I've done Florida, I've done Mississippi, Alabama, and now I am, and also Louisiana. I did it in 6 days, riding all the way across Louisiana in 6 days. And now I'm in Texas.
Okay. And you're heading on out. You're planning to go to California, did you say?
That's correct. I'm headed to California. I consider this the second leg of the journey, and it goes from Florida to California.
Okay, that's a southern tier, I believe they call that. I've heard different people talking about.
Yeah, the southern part, and the reason I'm doing the southern part right now is because, of course, in the winter, that's the warmest place you can be in the United States.
What can you tell me about where you live or what?
Well, that's a pretty good one for me, too. If I probably went back home, it'd be to Oklahoma City, but I'm not renting a place there. So while I'm on this journey, and it's about a 1.5 year journey, give or take, whatever it is, I am living where the bike is. I'm going to go with that one. That sounds good.
You do not have a family, a wife, and children that...
That's correct. Okay. I have family, but I don't have a wife.
You're not really a minister, but you're kind of along that line, right?
Well, yeah, really what I'm doing is, the whole thing with the bike thing is to take the cross across America. And it's kind of strange. You know, I woke up one day and I felt in my heart God was speaking to me, and God was speaking to me like, take my cross across America by bicycle. I'm like, dude, that's kind of crazy. But in about a week and a half, he confirmed it to me about 7 times. And so I really felt like he said, sell my stuff and to do it. And so I sold all the stuff that I had, you know, and prepared myself. It took about 3 months to prepare myself for the journey. And then I left in October.
Okay, by the way, along that line, what kind of bicycles are these called that you people ride across the country?
Well, generally what you would know, it would be known as a touring setup, a touring bicycle. A touring bicycle has a little bit different geometry than a road bike or a mountain bike. If you wanted to make a touring setup, what I use is, it's an old mountain bike setup before they had the shocks on them. It's actually, I use a 1997 Rincon Giant. And I modified it with different rims, different tires, different stems, different handlebars, and put on something to hold packs and stuff like that. And then I also have a touring trailer, which is made by Bob Yak. And I modified it to hold the cross itself, and I put a cover on it so it'll hold the stuff that I need inside of it. I have a shofar, I have my guitar, harmonicas, a tent, a sleeping pad, a sleeping bag, and mostly clothes, and I have my camera set up, and so on. So
I've always been curious about how a person could afford to do this.
Wow, you know, I would say it is kind of expensive, but see, the thing is God set it up. He told me to do it, so I just like, okay, God, you take care of it. You know, you're the one that called me to do this, and you can't have me do this without making the way as far as, you know, the money thing. And, you know, I started off with under $500, and by the time I got to Florida, I still had $500. So in other words, along the way, people would just give and buy me a dinner, and I don't go around asking for money. He supplies all my needs.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm talking to Kevin Woolley. He's from Oklahoma City, going to California now. Been through 15 states. What's something strange happened to you on the tour somewhere? Is this your first tour?
This is my first tour.
Okay,
yeah.
Something strange that you might tell us about?
Well, you know, one day what had happened was I was biking, and I come into a place that was known as North Carolina. And so I decided to camp in a certain place, and that night this bear come up, and I could hear it going, "Rrr, rrr," and he's right outside my tent, and I'm going, better not get scared, because the stuff comes out of your pores, right? And then the bear wants to eat you. And then inside my head I go, okay, God, you had me do this. You take care of it. And instantly some dogs started barking and the bear ran off. And I'm telling you, this is what happens. When you're in God's will, when you're doing what he wants to do, when you're with him, when you're doing what he wants to do, what happens is he takes care of everything. Okay? And that's where I'm at. That he takes care of everything.
There you go. Well, I think that's pretty well. You got something else you want to add? We've pretty well covered this thing, haven't we?
Well, I think we have. I guess the only thing to really let you guys know about is if you get a chance, check out my blog. And the blog itself is BIKE, the number 4, God, GOD.com. So in other words, Bike for God, bikeforgod.com. And the 4 itself is like a number 4. And on there you'll be able to get a hold of me. It has videos on YouTube. You've got a way to contact me. I've got free music for you to download. I've got some pretty cool little teachings that you might be interested in, and there's actually a map to show you where I've gone and where I'm going, and some pictures on the way. So it's a pretty cool little thing. But hey, could I tell you a story about what happened on the tour?
Sure, tell me.
Okay.
Need one.
Okay. Really what happened this one day, I was just riding down the street and I really thought something was holding my bike back. So I get off the bike and I spin the tires and they were okay, and I thought the brakes were messed up. So all of a sudden I just said, I'll pull over, and I pulled over and these two guys come walking out of the 7-Eleven. And I go, wow. I started talking to them for 20 minutes. And during this time, they knew that it was time for them to go. And then all of a sudden I go, hey guys, can I pray for you? And they're like, dude, would you pray for us? And I was like, wow, yeah, I'll pray for you, no big deal. And so I started praying for them. I prayed for them, I prophesied over them, I gave them a good word, and I just told them God loved them, and I said, hey, God, reveal yourself to them. And then I said, amen. And later on, I was riding away and I was talking to that guy. I go, God, what was that all about? And here's what he told me. He told me that nobody prays for these guys. Nobody ever prays for these guys whatsoever. He says the only time that they hear prayer is over at Grandma's house on Thanksgiving, and the prayer's not even about them. And I thought to myself, I go, you know what? What would it be like to live in this world right now and have nobody to pray for you? I mean, whether it was 5 days or whether it was a month or 5 years or whatever it is, what would it be like that? What would it be like? And I said to God, I go, God, if this is the only 2 people that get touched on the whole 48 states, I said, I'm good with that. I'm cool with that, because that's what it's all about. It's about touching people. It's about touching people's lives. It's about changing the atmosphere through prayer. It's about bringing God into a situation. I mean, look at our economy today. You see how it is. And people are like, well, what about this? What about my job? How am I going to do this? People need prayer. And that's what I'm going through these towns. I'm going through the states. I'm going through the governments. And I'm praying for people right and left, right and left. And God's stepping up to the plate and touching people. And miracles are happening. And again, over and over, I prayed for another person, and I really thought God was saying this to me. God was saying, look, I want to take him to heaven. And I'm like, okay. So I was praying for this person. I go, God's going to take you to heaven. And instantly he took him to heaven. And then after the prayer, they're going, as soon as you said that, God took me to heaven, and I saw this, that, and another thing. And I'm just like, yeah, well, that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what? That's how he's made us. And we've fallen away from certain areas that we're supposed to be a certain way, and we've fallen away from that. But I'm telling you that, you know what? It's real. It's real. And that's what it's all about.
J.P. White, Kevin Woolley from Oklahoma City, 15 states already on the bike with a little trailer out there, and he's on his way to California. Well, Kevin Woolley, thank you for coming by, old buddy. You sound like the real McCoy.
Thank you. You guys, peace out. Have a good one. Love you guys. Take care.
So long. See you next time. J.P. White, SportsSpeak Sports.
Kent's Collision Center, 1520 Highway 96 bypass in Silsbee. We take the dents out of accidents. Kent's Collision Center, specializing in insurance collision repair. Locally owned and operated. Over 19 years in business in Southeast Texas. Kent's Collision Center, open Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. Call them at 385-3755. Kent's Collision Center. We check it and recheck it. Kent's Collision Center, 1520 Highway 96 Bypass, Silsbee. We take the dents out of accidents. Mitchell Sawn Supply in Evadale, Highway 96 South. 36 years of professional service and superior work. Mitchell Sawn Supply, your certified steel dealer with a full line of steel parts and accessories. No job's too big or too small. They've got tools for everything. Mitchell Sawn Supply, open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. till 5:30, Saturday, 7 till noon. Be sure to check out their line of guns and their complete gun shop, as well as all the ammunition you'll need for whatever you're hunting. Mitchell Sawn Supply, Evadale.